Okay, we're rattling along. We're moving along to question 8, which concerns hearing impairment. As the Mayor currently has a speaking impairment, I think I'll let her off this one. So this question comes from Emily, a Year 9 pupil at St Thomas More.
1 in 7 people in the UK alone suffer from a hearing impairment. A fundamental life skill is the ability to communicate with them through sign language. How do we make North Tyneside a more inclusive community?
That's a very good question. So should we perhaps be putting sign language on the curriculum? Sergeant Brady, you obviously have to deal with people with a number of issues. Can you answer this question?
Yeah, absolutely. As the police, we try to be an inclusive employer, so we try to reflect the communities that we work in. We certainly have people within the police that have officers. I've got one within my team that's got hearing problems and he has hearing aids. There are other members of staff within the police, mainly on the civilian side, that I know have profound hearing difficulties and use sign language. It's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult skill to learn. I've tried to learn it myself years ago. But it is important that as the police we can communicate with everyone within the community. I know there are officers within the police service that can use sign language. If we have an issue with somebody and have problems communicating, we can call on those officers to come and assist us. But there's also lots of ways for people with those issues to contact the police. So if you look at the police website, which is due to be updated, there's ways for them to contact. So there's the internet, so people can, if they can't ring up because they have hearing difficulties, there's text phones, they can report incidents via the internet, so there's an online forum. They can also, I don't understand fully how it works, but there is something they can register for an emergency situation where they can send information to the police and receive information back. But it is really important that we can deal with everybody within the community, and sometimes there's a little bit delay in that because you've got to get the right person with the right skills. There's people within my team who are interested in learning sign language, but it's not something that you can. My understanding is different types of sign language as well, so there's 2 or 3 different types. So it's learning the right one that works, and it's the time to learn it, and it's like any skill, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's something that you've got to practice. But it is really, really important that we can communicate with everybody.
Thank you very much. The thrust of this question was essentially how do we make North Tyneside a more inclusive community? Robin?
Yeah, great question. A couple of years ago, on a project that we run during the summer, the NCS programme, we worked quite closely with the National Deaf Children's Society to involve some 16-year-olds who were profoundly deaf. And it's an issue that I didn't really know that much about, and it was quite depressing actually to hear some of the challenges that deaf young people face. So we were talking earlier about mental health, and there's some statistics that suggest that 40% of deaf young people will develop poor mental health because they're more isolated than others. They're more likely to be bullied, they struggle more at school, the huge difficulties around them becoming more independent. I guess some of the simple things that we could all do is make a pledge to learn some basic British Sign Language. So I guess it would be a challenge for us all to develop a huge vocabulary, but having worked with some of these young people, they totally get that, but they're hugely appreciative and very keen to share their skills with others. So it might be in school, in your own time, why not make a pledge to learn some basic signs? And actually, if you enjoy that, then why not do it as a career? Because actually, for people who are fully qualified in British Sign Language, you can make an absolute bomb. From experience of having to book interpreters, it's a kind of skill. So it's quite a few years worth of training, but they get paid a lot of money, and they're absolutely in demand. We were struggling to find enough people who were fully qualified. So yeah, have a go at it. I'm sure there's some kind of classes available as well, but why not do that? But in addition, in terms of making things more inclusive, there's really simple things to do as well in terms of, so we do quite a lot of filmmaking, and actually, true story, just last night I was subtitling an interview that I did with the elected mayor as part of a film we made about the development of the Dome. So things like, if you've got films online, subtitle them, dead easy to do, immediately makes it more accessible to others. Stuff like social media, WhatsApp. When we were involving young people on our programme, although not everyone was able to use sign language, they all had mobile phones, and quite often they would just text each other. They were sat in the same room, but they would find their own ways of communicating. So just make use of social media, I guess. Learn some basic signs, and it's not easy, but it's a really important thing for us to be investing our time in.
Thank you very much. Emily, did that answer your question? Do you know sign language?
I know the alphabet, that's it. Thank you.
It's a great start. You see sort of news programmes, weather, films being signed, and as Robin says, it's obviously a lucrative career as well.